Alright, Facebook, don't want to go.
Facebook's not connecting. YouTube's live.
Facebook's live. Oh, something just dinked.
That's me. It's off. All
Are
done.
you going live?
Yes, that is you going live.
On YouTube, but it's not on Facebook. What's going on?
It is on Facebook.
Well, yeah, I got it. I just got a notification on both.
Really?
It is.
Mhm.
It's on Facebook.
Geocaching Podcast blocked me on Facebook.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. My bad. Hello, everybody. Anyone in chat room set an adventure lab? I have an adventure lab. I haven't done it yet. Anybody have coronavirus? Anybody? Ian might.
No.
My wife's working on it.
He's working on what, testing and care?
Well, she's a clinical dietitian. She's in a hospital, working in a hospital where there are now several patients with coronavirus and several suspected people, and they don't have enough rooms that are sufficient to handle the what do you call that, with the negative airflow.
Mm-hmm.
So they just changed policies. Now she's allowed for those patients to literally call them and talk to them on the phone and deal everything remotely, as opposed to going into the room. But it's like, yeah, you're trying to kill my wife here, people. Don't do that.
No, you live and active. Good to know. Thank you.
Well, everyone stay healthy. Wash those hands.
Wash the hand. You should be washing your hands anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell you what, man, my company's been taking care of us, letting us work remotely and trying to trying not to lose workforce. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to get sick. That's worst case scenario.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're allowing us to work remotely as well, but I haven't been doing it because as of yet there haven't been any cases reported within my company. So, but once there's one case reported within the company, it's like, yep, I'm remote working.
All right, let's start this show. Everybody ready? Chad, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. 3. Oh, let's push play on the audio so we get nice audio. All right, here we go. In 3, 2. You're right there, Jess? In 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. Come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. I'll cover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is 8:30, which means it is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We have Shorty and It's manning the phones. And please welcome to my virtual left, my co-host, Jazz 427.
Howdy, all. It's time to talk Adventure Labs with the coronavirus. Oh, you can scratch that coronavirus part off.
We don't think anyone here has the coronavirus. Tonight's episode, 606, recorded live on March 11th, 2020, is discussing Adventure Labs. Guys, the phone lines are indeed now open. So you give us a call, 808-468-7924, 808-GOT-SWAG. If you want to join in on the conversation. Good day. See my show. Chad, before we get into this, though, before we start coughing and wheezing from coronavirus, we got to talk Patreon, Chad.
Oh, yeah.
We love our Patreon members. Patreon, that's a whole paywall, other side. Helps pay for this show, and this show is very expensive, trust me. We got extra audio, extra video, only available to our patron members. Chad, we got 2 new ones this week, Chad. How about that, buddy? 2 new ones.
Awesome.
We have got Truck Screw out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Chad.
You got to swing the bat for Williamsport. Yeah.
Yeah, so out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Gold Star member. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And we got, I'm going to destroy this. Incinuri. How about that? Out of Owatonna, Minnesota, Chad.
Say that 3 times fast.
I'm applauding because I said it correctly. I'm not going to say it again, though. Owatonna. I did it. Owatonna, Minnesota. So both of you, thank you so much for becoming patrons. Guys, you want to become patrons of our show. It's really easy to do. It's a lot of fun, too. You could give anything you can. Tiers start as low as $3. You could join us. Just go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com. Then / the geocaching podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
And tonight we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards a hider who would rather go caching than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com. And Chad, for the record, today I found a cache, and guess what? It had a Logwork log in it.
Awesome.
Fun fact.
Write in the Rain. Cool.
Fun fact in my life. How's that? There you go.
I found 2 with Logwork logs today.
There you go. Fun
Sure
fact.
did.
Sweet.
My oldest son is calling me right now.
Okay.
He knows it's time.
Like literally, he's calling me. Like, hold on a second. Hello. Yeah, you know better. Yeah, you know better. You probably went. Oh God, sorry. Okay, continue.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. The FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Bee Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you and or your caching group, with adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL. If you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, then you've come to the right place. Please give us the opportunity to show you how we can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And finally, by pathtags.com. For all your swag and path tag needs, visit our website to get creative help. I always mess that up. To trade or log tags, or to purchase your own personalized path tags. With over 39,000 tags to collect, pathtags.com is everything you need to start your path tag obsession. Visit them at pathtags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And as always, you can find links to our sponsors where on our chat, on our website, and where?
In our show notes.
Toby just texted me and he said, Rudy Gobert has coronavirus. I don't know who that is. I'm assuming that's somebody you must know.
It's a basketball player.
Is it a basketball player? Is that
NBA player.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Very sure.
Oh, apparently he has coronavirus.
It's interesting.
I know. Sorry, guys. Moving on really quickly with the news. We just got a little bit of news here, not much, but enough to warn. Guys, Jesse actually found this out. I was sleeping on the job here, but Jesse was not. Hey, guys, everything on our store, Threadless, geocachingpodcast.threadless.com. Now through the 15th, which is, what is that? That's this weekend. $15
Sunday through Sunday.
Guys. $15 t-shirts. So if you've been waiting to get that t-shirt, now is the time to do it. Now through Sunday, t-shirts are only $15. Can't go wrong with that. I think that's pretty cheap. Also, Jesse, you added this stuff here. Did you add this stuff? Or
I did.
Why don't you tell me what I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is.
So this week's...
I was probably going to save it for next week's show, but...
we'll throw it out there today. Just something real quick. This week's logbook email from headquarters had a hidden link with a little preview and a hint of the spring souvenir promotion. It starts April 6th, and the hint is Memory Lane. So it looks like it'll be fun.
Okay.
And what is it going to be? Is it just like we don't know? No idea what it is at all.
We don't know yet.
Okay. Okay. No emails this week, so we can get right to the show. We welcome Onaboat. Hello, sir. Onaboat.
What's going on, guys?
He calls in every day, every week. So I was saying, we might as well
Every week
have him on the show, and he always has an opinion. So, and dare I say, there are a few people more qualified to talk on this show than Onaboat. Why don't you, Onaboat, Ian? Why don't you give us your resume, so to speak?
My resume, my
Adventure Labs.
My Adventure Lab resume. Okay, so I don't know. I've always enjoyed lab caches, Adventure Labs. So I have about 600 lab cache finds now. So that's been enjoyable. I'm at 596 or something. And I've also created quite a few as well. So I know, Scott, you and I got to talking about some of the stuff you wanted to do, and I kind of, I've created a few of those, and that's where this idea came from. So I've done anything from through Midwest GeoBash. Like we have adventures every year for the Mega. I've worked on those with our rest of people on our team. I've also created one for our Ohio geocaching group, and I've created one personally myself as well. So probably up to 10 different adventure series now.
Okay,
so
way more than any of us have done.
Yeah.
Jed, you've done one, right?
I've put out one series. I helped with a few when they were just lab caches back a number of years ago. But and then I found something like 250-ish. I'm not sure where I'm at now.
I can't even tell you how many I found.
I have like right around 200.
So I got to be the same as you.
I would think.
So, but Jesse and I both have lab caches to do. We've both been awarded an Adventure Lab. So we have until May 1st to do it. So we're going to talk about them here. But before we talk about them, I want to get right to the questions. Yesterday, I think it was, yesterday I went to my patrons. If you're a patron, you would have got this. And I said, hey guys, give us your questions. I'm going to get them answered for you. So they bombarded me with questions all day, and with more than I was expecting. And so I put a call into Brian Roth, and I put a call into Rock Chalk, and they graciously answered any questions that I had. So we're going to start with those real quick before I do anything else here, because these might work into the show here. When are they? Jesse's question here. This isn't Jesse's, but Jesse asked this question. When are they moving to the main app? That's the main question.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Roth says, we will continue to use the Adventure Lab app for playing Adventure Labs. However, at some point in the future, hopefully in time for our 2020 celebration, but no guarantees, we are planning to add Adventure Lab dots on the geocaching application map that will redirect users to specific adventures within the Adventure Lab app. We are also considering allowing Adventure Lab app users to view geocaches on the Adventure Lab map. Wow, that's interesting. But we need to do more research before committing to that.
Mm.
So it looks like,
one of those needs to be done. That's for sure. I mean, I've done adventure labs where I've been quite literally at a virtual doing the venture lab, and then go away, then realize
right
100 miles later, it's like, oh shit, there's a virtual there.
Thank you, Jay. Yes, and Jesse's been griping about that as well. Jesse's been saying this for almost a year now. Is that like how it needs to be on the map? It has to be on the map because people are overlooking it, not even knowing it's there. That's the problem. I mean, remember, Jesse, we almost left last year. We almost left Midwest, but we forgot that there was labs there. Remember, like
we were on our way out of town, and
we're like, oh my god, like
we ran into someone, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just out here getting these other lab caches. We're like, oh yeah, that's right, we gotta get these. Yeah, because there's no reminder. I mean, we're out caching, so we're looking at our caching app, and you don't think to go back and forth.
No.
Yep. And I had a couple days of jury duty at the beginning of this year, and I did some caches there, but I never thought to pull up and see if there's an Adventure Lab there, and I could have got Adventure Lab.
Yep,
it's right there. It's like,
Another question from a patron: is there a way to get notifications that my lab was done? I just made my first one ever, and I made it go live yesterday. A cacher friend did my lab, and I never got any notification that it was completed. Brian Ross says, not yet, but it is on our list of things to add to the platform. We like to have notifications for players when a new when a new lab is published, and notifications for creators when the lab caches are found. We will have it eventually, but I'm not precisely sure when. So it is on the to-do list, but unfortunately, you will not know when someone does your lab. You got to keep checking back.
Yeah, you got if you go and look at it in within the app, you'll see you can go scroll through the list of who's done it, how many people have done it, that
Right,
sort
right.
of stuff.
Another patron says, when will there be another opportunity to be awarded an adventure lab? Now, Onaboat, you commented on this. What did you say?
Yeah, so Brian Roth had mentioned on some other shows that they were working through the existing list of people that had requested them, and there would likely be additional opportunities later for other active cachers, premium members, things like that, which I believe is part of the answer that you got down here as well. So that's cool. It sounds like there's gonna be even more, which is what I want to see.
So Rock Chalk, will there be another opportunity to be awarded Adventure Lab? Rock Chalk says, as part of the next phase of the evolution of the Adventure Lab platform, Geocaching Headquarters is inviting a limited number of premium members to create the next round of Adventure Lab experiences. Selection is currently based in part on the following criteria: inactive premium memberships, subscribe to marketing emails, which you can do in geocaching.com/account/settings/email preferences, or just if you go to our show notes, the link is there. Does not have a current credit or active adventure, and is active and has found Adventure Lab caches. Pretty simple.
Right.
We are selecting geocachers regularly from those who meet the criteria and are in locations we are targeting for adventures. During this experimental phase, we are not ready to fulfill credit requests outside of the current format. So yeah, it sounds like they're gonna give more away. I think sounds like it to me. Next question came up: will adventures ever fully count towards fines, as in fines by day found? We noticed that they don't presently. Rock Chalk says currently, adventure location fines count as lab cache fines in quotes in your geocaching.com statistics.
Yeah.
One adventure location fine equals one lab cache find. Completing one adventure with 5 locations equals 5 lab cache finds. Finds made in an Adventure Lab app that are not currently tied to your local time zone. They are in UTC. It is not possible to adjust the timestamp on these adventure logs. There can be a delay between the Adventure Lab app and geocaching.com when a discrepancy in your find counts will appear. It takes a little time for the two to sync to each other. Oh, okay. So it might take a little time for it to catch up, but it will catch up. And then if the creator of an adventure has removed and or added a location to their adventure after players have logged in, after players have logged it, that may result in incorrect lab cache find counts or incomplete adventures for players. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So set it up and don't don't mess with it. Our team is hard at work to find Our team is hard at work on new features and capabilities to improve the Adventure Lab app. We appreciate the community's patience as we expand our efforts. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I was gonna piggyback on the part about the UTC thing, and I noticed in the comments El Rojo mentioned that he didn't get his leap day lab because of the time difference. That actually happened to me. I tried to log one right at midnight local time, and to get my lab find for the day, and I had to actually go back and find a different one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
not
was
local time.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a mess. So I just happened to notice my find per day count added one to my February 28th finds, and I was like, "What? I found it on the 29th. What the heck?" So that's a good explanation. It's kind of cool to see that they're aware of that. So
Right. Okay. Next question from a patron: will fences become better enforced for usability? We noticed some issues with no service at stops on adventures. We know that we can go back to service to service, which means you can go to like a Starbucks or something and get on the network and answer if the question's open at the stop. Better fences would prevent this. Rockchalk answered, as of February 28th, that's 2020, geofencing is required by the builder tool that creators use, and it must be 20 meters and 100,000 meters, and default is 1,000 meters. All adventures without geofencing will be updated to have the maximum allowable radius. This was announced in an email to all adventure creators on February 10th, and the Adventure Lab guidelines state, make sure all locations require players to physically visit adventure locations. Now, yeah, now I had some people saying like, let me phrase that, because the next question is the next question tailors into this one. Will they reduce the size of the fence? Right now, the smallest is 20 meters or 65 feet. I would like to get it down to 5 meters. Now, I think the problem with this is the people who come from out of the country who have no service, who then have to go to a Starbucks to actually log it. If you don't give them a wide enough berth or radius, they're not going to be able to log it at all. So.
Well, so if you actually go to the location and you hit answer, so you can have it up, and then go to the location and the GPS, you're within the radius, and you hit the answer button. Then you can actually go to someplace with data, and then actually answer it. So
even if you're not there, even if you're not in the fence,
right? You can go if you've already clicked the answer button. You can go. You can effectively go outside the fence and answer it later. Or at least we were able to do that when we were doing some on Leap Day because we had a couple people that hadn't. It's like wait, I haven't got it. It's like because they typed it in wrong. It's like, well, if you've already clicked the answer, you should still be able to retype it. And we were a mile down the road by that point. And it's like, so you typed it and boom.
Really?
Got the ching.
Ching. Okay. Onaboat, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, Chad, I had a similar experience with that when I was in Michigan a couple weeks ago. And I was with Shaved Ewok. He answered it. I forgot to answer it. I just typed in the word, spelled it wrong, and didn't hit submit. And we ended up getting all the way back to Ohio. And I'm like, it's still showing incomplete. And it let me put it in because it was still up on my phone.
Right.
But every time I would put it in, it would show completed. And then when I refreshed the app, it would show incomplete again. So there's like a little bug that was taking my find away. So fun story with that. But
that's an interesting, yeah.
So I was going to say the other thing too is, go ahead, Chad. What are you going to say?
No, I talked to Linda and made sure that it did approve everything. So for her, and maybe they're if you're doing it way outside of the big limit, then maybe that's causing a bug. So maybe they got something with the 100-kilometer cap.
Yeah, my the thing that I thought was interesting is talking about getting it down under 5 meters. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm caching with my phone, it's rare that I get within 10 feet. You know what I mean? Like my phone,
right.
GPS accuracy is not that accurate, so you won't be able to get it if you're 7 feet away. It won't pop up and allow you to answer it. Right. So, I think the 20 sounds good to me.
Yeah, I would give it as much as that. I would give
20 sounds good. We even had some issues with 100 feet radius in downtown Fort Worth when we were kind of hitting between buildings with people's phones being just not there. The GPS coordinates bouncing around. So,
yeah. I mean, I would when I do mine's gonna be pretty. I'm gonna have a pretty large berth. I mean, it doesn't.
You're gonna do the.
I'm gonna be in the city, so I'm gonna need that. That just because Chicago's got crappy reception to begin with, so giving that wide berth will definitely help it.
Are you gonna set it to 100,000 meters, the maximum of
I could do
69 miles?
I could do it from home. Jesse will be home, be like, bring, bring, bring. Next up from a we're almost done here. From a patron. Guys, you feel they are becoming too oversaturated with labs? Is the lack of a review process a good thing? Now, like Chicago is becoming oversaturated. You see, there's a really bunch in the city, and then there's kind of spread out in the suburbs. But without a reviews, is it okay? Do you feel it's becoming oversaturated in any way?
I think it can get oversaturated for sure. Right now, what I'm observing isn't, at least for my area, it's not oversaturated. I think we got like 5 or 6 in Sacramento proper, and then maybe another 5 or 6 in the surrounding areas. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, because we've got the cities getting Chicago's kind of getting a little saturated a little bit.
As long as people are doing stuff unique and it takes you on an adventure, and the ones that I've done here have actually taken you on an adventure, and I think mine takes you on an adventure. So as long as that's happening, then I'm good with it. You know, if you're getting relatively boring ones, then yeah, no, I would say start cutting it back.
So I also have this question, but they actually called, so I'm gonna bring him in. We got Steven's ad infinitum, old friend of the show. Hello.
Hey,
How are you, sir? How you doing, buddy?
you know, I'm doing pretty good. I figured I would actually come in live for this one because I guess HQ is feeling sorry for me.
Why do you think they're feeling sorry for you?
Because I can't get any of the trackables, so they send me one of these adventure labs, and I've got no idea how to use it.
Oh, Mazel Tov, you got it. Good for you. Oh, good for you. So your
Yeah,
question. So his question. Oh, go ahead. Why don't you ask the question? You can go ahead and answer. Go ahead.
All right, my biggest question is because I was racking my brain. I was up for a couple of days. I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing? And I was like, it would be a perfect way to do an unofficial tour of the not so great known places in my local national park. And so I got looking into it. I was like, oh, this would be a good place. This would be a good place. Then I looked at at what you got to do, and you can't go into a place. They're saying that you have to pay for a service or admittance or anything like that. And now I'm like, but this would be a great place for like a national park. This adventure lab is a great theme.
Well, I do have the rules here. Hold on, let me plug. So we're going to talk.
Yeah, that is definitely part of the rules. One of my locations, I wanted it to be inside of a place that called Tiny Town here. It's mine's a bunch of quirky places in Sacramento area, and I didn't realize that you actually had to pay admittance in order to get in. So I basically made it so that you can access the information, and the range was large enough to get it from the outside, but you also get to see the tiny town.
So is it? Do you have to actually pay to get in? Yeah, you have to pay to get into those, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know some places you just
national parks. I mean, well, if you got a season pass, and you don't have to pay at that time,
right.
They might be more lenient on that because you got virtuals and earth caches and stuff all over the place, and while technically you have to pay to get into the park, it's not like paying to get into a museum. In a way,
Onaboat's done a lot of these, and maybe you had some input. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss. I really want to get this done.
So two things. Number one, one of my the one that I actually hid under my account takes you to the James A. Garfield National Historic Site here in outside of Cleveland, Ohio. So the issue of putting it in a national park or national historic site or anything like that with permission is no problem. The piece about the access fees or free to play or any of that stuff, that's actually new. So I have seen, I've done some actually that are in parks that require like a $5 day pass to get into the park or something like that. And the same thing goes for traditionals and stuff, right? Like generally we don't put caches in places that have a fee, but they do make exceptions if it's a nominal fee, right? That's kind of the guidance that they've used in the past, is a nominal fee, depending on the area. Right. Right. So you can actually reach out to them. That'd be my suggestion. Reach out to them, see if they'd shoot it down.
Yeah, reach out to Groundspeak or
yeah, because in the guidelines it actually says like any exceptions to these must be provided in writing by HQ. So that to me doesn't sound like they're not open to making exceptions. Like, you know, I think the whole thing's an experiment. They're trying to figure out what works best and what doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So,
Okay. Corey, get your question. Hey, Corey, if you want, I could shoot you. I can send you an email address of somebody at HQ if you want to email somebody about it.
Somebody you've already got twisted in your back pocket. Okay, I'm good with that.
What? I didn't.
I said I'm good with that.
All right,
yeah.
shoot me an email to
Let me
remind.
know who I can send. You know, an extra $20 to get it through, and that'll be good.
Shoot me an email reminding me, and I will shoot an email address back to you, and you could send the question to them.
All right, awesome. Hey, thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Good to talk to you. Bye bye. So, a couple more here. What's the extent of multimedia you can use when placing an adventure lab? I know you could do video. I know you can do pictures. Is there anything else that you can do? Is it just video?
you can do you can have web links and stuff like that in the app. So you can tap on a web link in your description. It'll take you somewhere else, and you can have all kinds of other content externally.
Okay, so really quick, Corona update. The NBA suspended the season,
Yes.
and Tom Hanks just got tested as positive as well, by the way. Oh, you guys already know this? How am I just getting this right? My son is behind here. He's literally texting me updates. What's going on? Sorry. I think that, hold on. Okay, one more, and then we're done. Yes, one more. What are hiders doing to make labs more exciting with current guidelines not allowing any physical aspects related to labs? I plan on setting 5 lab locations plus a bonus cache. And obviously bonus caches seem to be the popular choice here.
Right. When I put mine out relatively early into this, and I hadn't thought about bonus caches, but now it seems like everyone is who are putting them out now are putting out a bonus cache with them, which is nice.
Chad, you did a driving one, is that correct?
Yeah, all of the ones that I've done here are pretty much driving. But mine's probably the most scattered in the Sacramento area as far as the amount of driving that you need to do to get to all the locations.
Yeah, because I've been debating on a couple different versions of what I want to do. And one of them, and Jesse was talking about it too, entails driving. But we're like, do we want to make people drive, 30 miles from one to the other, or 15 miles from one to the other? What's your feeling on that? Have you anybody in the chat room as well? Anybody experienced those where you're driving 15, 20 miles per one? You've done that, or you've built one, or you've done it?
Both. We were out in New Jersey for the Metro Gathering Mega last year. We did a Revolutionary War one that took you all over Eastern Jersey. It was probably, 100 miles of driving all over the place. 10 stops. It was pretty cool. And that's actually kind of what I enjoyed that, and I realized, hey, I don't mind driving. So I built my Garfield one here in Northeast Ohio to take you to 5 different sites in President Garfield's life here in Northeast Ohio. And the cool thing is too, Chad, I don't know if you've had this experience with like some of the ones that in the Sacramento area, if they're driving, right? People can come back and do stage 2 or stage 3 another day. They don't have to do it all in one day. Right. So,
so I've got a number of people that have only done 1 or 2 of the stages of mine so far, but plan on getting the rest of them eventually.
Yep.
Okay. So it doesn't bother you at all when you have one that's driving?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
As long as the stops are worthwhile.
So that's all the questions we got. So we can finally start talking about adventure labs here. So Jesse and I both have one. We're both kind of going. Jesse, I think, finally figured out what she wants to do, and she doesn't want to tell anybody. She made me promise I won't tell anybody. So
I don't want anyone to steal it. I'm excited.
Steal her
well, yeah, there's so many.
I finally have a great idea.
Yeah. I have 2. But I'll tell mine. I don't care.
So it's not going to be where I met Scott Burks when I first went on the date with Scott Burks, where Scott Burks proposed to me.
So I have
one. Those are all caching related, and there is a cache where we met actually.
I have one where it's glorious. My church, Wrigley Field, has 4 statues around it, okay, of different ball players. And then the fifth is obviously the marquee. So I could do that and you walk around Wrigley. Okay. Or wait. I also have a thought of uh John Hughes movie shoots. Like so the school where the Breakfast Club was, and Ferris Bueller's High School, and the hotel from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and stuff like that. Now I already have physical caches there on a lot of those, but not all of them. There's a lot of others, like the church from 16 Candles, and stuff like that. You can't. There's a whole John Hughes, place where you can do that. But that would be more than 5. Am I allowed more than 5? Can I have up to 10?
No, one adventure lab is 5 locations
Only
max.
Okay, that's good to know. So I'm debating on those two. Now, obviously, the John Hughes one I'd have to is a driver at the drive, but the Wrigley is just a walk around Wrigley. The problem with the Wrigley one is Chicago starting to get saturated. It really is.
Mhm.
I mean, Wrigley already has a cache and it's got a virtual already at Wrigley, so you'll be able to get what 6 cache 6 5 no 7. You'll be able to get 5 labs, a virtual and a traditional at Wrigley if I do that at Wrigley.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it'd be pretty cool. It's a pretty nice, well-rounded day for someone visiting the city. So I'm thinking about doing that.
Well, someone should do it, even if you're not the one that does it.
Okay. All right. And so the beauty part about this is we've got Ian, who's done a ton of these. We've got Chad, who's done a bunch, and Jesse's taking a phone call right now. I don't know who she's talking to. I'm waiting for her to bring him into the queue.
Scott, you do know that there's an adventure series just like the one you're talking about at Wrigley at PNC Park.
Is there really?
The better stadium already has one just like you're suggesting. So
yeah, I think I'm not.
Yeah. I'd be willing to bet that in Cincinnati they've got one.
Right.
Right there, with Pete Rose and
I don't think there's
Johnny
one there
Bench.
yet.
Okay.
Then someone needs to get one there.
Yeah.
So
all right, I'm gonna bring this caller in. Looks like it's from Seattle, Washington. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hey guys, how are you?
Who is it?
I can tell you who this is.
My username is Brian.
Oh, is that the Brian? Hello, Brian. How are you?
Nice. Hi guys. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm standing out in my backyard with my dog. There's a play field nearby. There's craziness in Seattle, of course. But
are you okay?
I got an email from you guys seeing if I could answer some questions, and I have just a few minutes. I asked Heidi, and she said it was cool. So, how are you guys doing?
How are you doing?
We're doing great.
Ground zero. How are you doing? We're fine.
It really feels like ground zero, but it also feels, pretty quiet. Streets are pretty quiet. There's definitely less cars on the road. I mean, all the major companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, they're all working remotely.
Wow.
Us too at Groundspeak since last Thursday. We've basically been encouraging everybody to work from home. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
And now all the sporting events are canceled. The
Yep.
concerts are canceled. The symphony is closed down. I mean, European travel banned for 30 days.
Yes, I heard about
kind
that.
of craziness.
So I have
Other than that, we're doing okay.
Have you guys talked about
we're
have you talked about your plans at all? For you guys got something huge coming up here in a couple of months. Has that been addressed at all, or are you just wait? Are you in a holding pattern kind of a thing?
The truth is, at this point, we just don't have enough information, and like everybody else, it's a wait and see. We're trying to be optimistic. It's August, so that's quite a few months away, but who knows how this is going to develop? We would be absolutely crushed if we couldn't have the celebration, but everybody's health and safety is of paramount importance. So
absolutely.
If the agencies and the government say don't do it, then we're not going to do it. But again, I'm always optimistic, and in this case, I think we have a lot of time. I think they're starting to take some really serious actions to contain it, and I'm going to hope for the best.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the main questions.
Wash your hands.
Wash your
Don't go to really crowded places.
Anybody in the chat room, you have a question for Brian about Adventure Labs? You ask it really quick here. Brian, we answered the questions before you called.
Good.
But
right on. Glad you have the answers.
so
that means that inter-community communication is working effectively.
right. So really quickly, one of our listeners had a question for what's the chance that HQ would allow a lab to be placed in a national park with permission? Is that allowed?
I would say with permission in a national park, absolutely. Why not?
I'm just
I
asking.
think that'd
Yeah.
be delightful.
I think
concerns at first glance would be, is there good cell coverage? Because it is live data, at least for now it is, for the near term anyway. So can people actually play it? If they can, and I think that at some point, if they're done well, then the national parks will embrace this. Maybe they'll want to build some of their own. I think there's
absolutely.
some interesting opportunities there. But yeah, with permission, I can't see why not.
So the national parks then would fall under the nominal fee as far as pay for entry.
Yeah, I believe it would.
Okay.
I don't even know what the specific fees are, so that's probably something I should check with the community before saying for certain. But it seems to me like it's something that we want to allow.
Right. Yeah, I would think so.
Disclosed, and it's like, hey, it's a national park fee to get in. As long as people know before they do it, it seems like it should be.
I think that's pretty. I think everybody.
Right.
Does anybody not know there's a fee to get into a national park? I mean, isn't that kind of standard to know that?
I would hope so. If you're going to a national park,
Discover Pass to go to the Ape event,
right?
Previously to park there.
So the biggest question, obviously in everyone's mind, is the main app, Brian. The main app. When's it coming on the main app?
It is in our plans. It is on the roadmap. I can't promise anything, but I would say, the truth is we are not actively working on it right now. But we intend to work on it really inside of the next few months. I can't promise anything because sometimes things change and get in the way. But for right now, I think it'd be really nice to have it by summertime, August, by block party or 2020 celebration. I think would be cool.
Yep.
But again, I have no idea. It's on the roadmap. We have plans to do it. I would personally love to see it. We'll see how quickly we can get it out there and, balancing all the other things that the teams are doing.
Mm-hmm. All right, 2 more questions. I'll let you go. I know you're a busy man.
Keep going.
When will another opportunity be awarded in another adventure lab? People want more. I know, obviously, you want to try and get out to everyone, but
the second one is a good question. Here's the thing: is right now they're being made available to premium members. Mm-hmm. Somewhat randomly. There's an algorithm that's distributing them, and we're giving them out more and more over the course of the year. The plan is to give them out more and more. I think you guys are already aware of sort of the qualifications that we're working with now. It's like, yeah, you have to be a premium member because we always promise premium members access to the new features first. You have to be subscribed to the marketing newsletter, otherwise we can't send you those kind of communications. I don't remember the other qualifications, but the plan is to give out a bunch of credits over the course of this year to premium members who meet those qualifications. And there's a lot of premium members out there. As of today, I want to say there's 2,600 or so adventure labs around the world. And so if you consider, all right, that's 2,600 people who have built one, there's quite a few more people who have credits, quite a few more. But considering the large amount of premium members that there are worldwide, we kind of want to make it so that if there's a premium member that wants one, at some point they're going to be chosen for one. They'll be selected and they'll get one. But before we can really get to everybody, it's hard to give somebody a second round of credits.
Fair enough.
Not to say that we won't do it. We have talked about, possibility in the future of giving a second round of credits to folks who have made highly rated and highly active adventure labs. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again,
sure.
we have to balance.
Sure.
We have to balance those two things really, and we'll have more information at some point, I'm sure.
And are they here to stay? Are they here for good, or is it still in a beta phase kind of thing?
Adventure Lab?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, it's here. It's here to stay.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Here to
great.
stay.
Good to hear.
I mean, think about it. How do you feel? Do you want to keep doing it? Do you think the community
we
wants
like
to keep
them. Yeah,
doing it?
absolutely.
It feels like, right. So it feels like we're, we had ideas for this project. This is what we wanted it to achieve. We wanted people to embrace it and be excited about it as a new extension of geocaching. And I think what we're seeing is people are enjoying them. So yeah, there's no reason to stop. In fact, we're gonna stay focused on it. As I think I've mentioned in the past, we have a full team that is dedicated solely to improving that platform.
Nice.
And we've got some big ideas. So, the goal is to keep making it better so that people continue to have more fun and engage with it. And, part of our overall vision as a company is we want an adventure at every location. And while, that's a hyperbole or whatever, it's also, Adventure Labs, geocaches, waymarks, like let's create this platform, make it better so that we can get to the point where no matter where you go, there's something fun to do and there's a reason to get off your couch and go outside. So Adventure Lab feels like a really nice new piece of that equation. And we're super excited about it. I am delighted to see how much fun people are having. In most of the, not most, I don't know how many exist, but I'm in quite a few of the Adventure Lab Facebook groups, and I'm listening and rarely contributing because I'm always trying to balance time. But it's super exciting. They're not going anywhere.
Okay, and what about the priority for AL developers? Which features are slated to be released first, if any, or is there a timeline for that?
What is the priority for developers right now?
Well, no, for like the AL developments. For the for example, for like Cashly, are they ever going to be allowed to have them on once you get them on? Are you going to open that up to them as well?
I think that when we look at the API ecosystem, yes, we absolutely look at it as if, eventually if we want more people to play these, we would want the API partners and the API ecosystem to be able to share them. I think that ultimately, at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to manage the player. Mm-hmm. But in terms of putting dots on the map of a Cashly or any of the other apps, I think that's absolutely a possibility. I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, great. All right. I'll let you go. I know you're super busy. One more. Everybody.
Cool. Well, I'm. Go ahead. Ask me another question, and then my wife and I are taking my dog out for a walk. Kind of cooped up in the house.
Everybody wants to know if you just spill a teaser about the April 6th souvenir promos that are coming up.
Oh, well, what did we put out there already? We put the name of it out, right?
Memory Lane.
Memory Lane. That's all you get.
Yeah.
You can't give me anything more?
And a 25-day, 4 hours and 44-minute countdown.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll just tell you that I'm personally excited by it. I think that, we wanted to do something fun for spring that resonated with, the whole 20 years. And, you could probably imagine what it's going to be like, but it should be fun. Hopefully it gets people outside and gives them something fun to do. I think it will. And the goal is to delight everybody. So we'll see how well that works.
All right, Brian. Well, hey, man, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate it.
Anytime. You guys have a wonderful night. And to everybody out there, happy geocaching. Have a great
we'll talk soon, Brian. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
It's always nice when the president calls in.
That was a nice surprise.
That was cool.
So, unfortunately, we just finished answering all the questions. We could have bombarded him with the questions. So let's talk Adventure Labs here. So Jesse, what you know, you only get 5. You only that's it. All you get is 5.
Okay.
And if you have been awarded an Adventure Lab, first off, congratulations. Welcome to the people who have Adventure Labs. Your Adventure Lab must be set public before May 1st, 2020. So if any more are coming out, that's kind of that's cutting it close here, because Jesse and I are cutting it close already.
I'm going to assume they're going to zero out the credits and do another round after that.
After May 1st, you have to think. I have
Yeah.
because he didn't get. Did you have a May 1st deadline, Chad?
I forget what the deadline was. I wasn't waiting around because it's like I knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't want anyone to possibly take what I wanted to do. So
Okay.
even though mine most definitely is not the most popular because of all the driving, I think.
Right. It must be set to public. Let me rephrase that. Must be set to public because there's 3 different variations. You can have privates. I forget what the other 2 were. I haven't done it yet. Chad, you guys know what they were? It's public, private, and something else.
Off.
Is it, okay, off. Must be set to public. Thank you, Ian. Must be set to public before May 1st, or the award may be removed. Public Adventure Labs have no expiration date, although if there are issues, they may be archived at the discretion of geocaching headquarters. This award applies to only your account, and you cannot transfer to anybody. Oh, Corey has August 1st, by the way, just in the show notes. Okay. How about that? Corey's got August.
He's special.
Yeah. Tim Green says each award has a specific expiration date.
They usually go in batches.
What?
They generally go in batches. Like mine was November, and then they rolled it, and then I know people that had like a January. Some people had a March, and then they pushed everybody that hadn't completed it yet back to May, and now they're giving them even longer. So.
Make sure all your locations require players to physically visit adventure locations, are accessible to the public most of the week, have permission from the landowner or land manager, do not involve placing a physical object or container for the adventure, cause no harm to plants, animals, or property, and adhere to all local laws. The content should be suitable for all ages. You own or have permission for all the content, including logos and images. Adventure Lab logos are available to use freely. Oh, nice. Adventures are free to play. You cannot require players to pay a fee for a product, service, or access. See, I think that's where we're coming in to the you cannot require players to pay a fee for a product, service, or access. I don't know, but if the president tells you it's okay.
Here's a comment though. Somebody in the chat room said that their local reviewer does allow. Where did it go? That they do allow it as long as it's for a nonprofit, like an entrance fee. I have not heard that myself, but every reviewer is different.
We have around us, we have something called the Botanical Gardens. It's a garden place, and it's free to get into, but you have to pay to park. So it's one of those kind of things. So I'm assuming that'd be okay. Botanical Gardens is probably a cool place to do too.
That was one of my first thoughts.
Tips to create an enjoyable adventure lab. Obviously, choose a location that has strong cell phone coverage. This is essential for the app to work, obviously. Set up your experience so all locations can be visited within 2 hours, ideally walkable. Have a theme or tell a unique story. Keep the questions simple. Let the location speak for itself. If you would like to have a connection between your adventure and geocaching.com, you may place an optional mystery cache as a bonus cache for completing your adventure. Test the adventure before going live, or have friends that is unfamiliar with the experience tested for you. Read the activity logs from time to time to see if the locations are safe or if they have needed updating at all. Anything you want to add to this, Ian or Chad? You guys have built these before. I have not.
Last one was a good point. You still have to kind of pay attention to them and do maintenance as needed. I had a stop that had some construction around it. You couldn't get to the plaque on the front door, and I had to modify the coordinates in the question and answer temporarily, and I wouldn't have known if somebody didn't put it in the log.
So someone put that in the log.
Yeah.
Here, Tim Green says GeoOrgs, Megas, and a handful of others got 10 labs. Individuals have typically only got 5. Did you get 10, Ian? Is he correct?
He is correct. Yes. I got 5 personally, but our mega event does get 10 in a series, and you don't have to use all 10 of them. Just like for you personally, you don't have to use all 5.
Right.
You could use 4. So.
Okay. Oh, Rojo, give us a call. You want to talk about bonus caches? Don't just say it in the chat room. You want to talk about it? Give us a call. Let's talk about a bonus cache. Chad, let's talk about yours. So you had one where you had first of all, how many people have found yours? Let's start
I don't know.
You don't get notifications,
You don't
so
get when's the last time you checked?
I haven't bothered to count them up, so that's the problem. And not everyone does the rating, so you would actually have to go through the activity log in order to count up the number of finders. So I really don't know how many people have found mine, but as far as the number of people that rated mine, it's about a third of what's rated other people's, because you have to get through the entire series before you can actually enable to rate someone's. And a lot of people have done bits and pieces of mine and haven't done all the stages because, yeah, you're going to do some driving in order to get mine done.
Right. Oh, so literally people do yours in stages, is what you're telling me.
In general, yeah, I would say that the two closest points are about 5 miles apart. The 5 miles of driving apart. So that's you're unless you're planning on spending at least 2 or 3 hours, you're not going to do it in one shot.
Right. And what about Ian? Do any of yours have a mystery cache at the end or anything like that?
They both do. Now they do. Not the ones for the mega event. Those are kind of self-contained things. But my the two that I have out here by me both have a mystery bonus cache placed for them.
And is it near where the adventure lab is?
Yeah. So in both cases, it's actually kind of near the starting location, which is kind of a weird way to do it. For the one that I said for President Garfield, like you have to go to his birthplace cabin, and it's in that general area. That's actually where I have the coordinates for it posted, because I figured since there's not a lab cache icon on the map right now, maybe somebody will see that at the starting point.
Oh, and then that's a smart idea, right?
And then I have the QR code into that.
I love that idea. Yeah, you put that there, and then they know, hey, there's a lab cache right here.
Yep.
I'm gonna call my bonus. There's a lab cache here. Believe it or not, we have literally two people calling in with the same question at the same time. So I'm going to bring them both in. I have got California El Rojo, and I've got another California GSM times 2. Hello, boys. How are you today?
Doing fantastic.
Wonderful. I got them both here. All right. So, yeah, Jesse put in the notes, put them both on. So
perfect.
What do you got to tell me, boys? Did you even hear what I said? My idea with my bonus cache, I'm going to call it, my bonus cache, my mystery cache is going to be called, there's an adventure lab here. So then people will know there's an adventure lab there.
Brilliant.
Please, this is why she's with me.
You know what? I had some people find, because mine's at a local preserve, and I had some people come find my ammo can at the beginning of the preserve this last week, but they didn't go find the adventure lab. See? So I'm almost thinking, like, it's not catching on yet.
Right.
Like how to play and how to do it, even though my bonus cache is real clear. Like, here's the link. You click on it, and it takes you to it. That's kind of interesting that, people still may not be getting it, because I think I did a pretty good job on it, and everybody that's found it so far has had real good reviews. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of interesting that, I think people haven't figured it out, which makes sense. I mean, until I did my first one in Vegas, I was kind of like, whatever.
Right.
And then I did it. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
I'm telling you, put a cache out right near it saying there's an adventure lab here. And see if it gets more hits.
What I did with mine is I went ahead and started, it's called Ojai Adventure Lab. I put a traditional at the very start of it that says the Ojai AL starts here. And then as you go from location to location, each journal gives you a clue to a multi-cache that I've attached to the Adventure Lab. And then at the end, your fifth journal gives you the coordinates to the final, or to the bonus. So I actually have a traditional, a multi, and a mystery attached to the Adventure Lab. And El Rojo did it, and El Rojo, what'd you think of it?
I was actually quite impressed. I felt inadequate, actually, once I was done. That I only had one bonus
Mine
cache
sucks.
in mine. But I will say this: I do have a twist on mine, and basically I've got other things you can log at mine that I think I'm just going to wait and have people go figure it out. But I basically found another way to have a logging experience at mine, and I just tell you, this travel bug is log too. Or just
Really?
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, thanks for telling me, because I think that's going to be on next Thursday's adventure, or Thursday's geocaching mission, to get up and see yours.
You probably would have figured it out. Most people have. I think a couple didn't figure it out till afterwards, and they're like, oh. So you'll see. But I will say this about Scott that's really clever is
Wait, me, Scott, or him, Scott? There's two Scotts in this one there.
as long as you can
Not me?
still edit them. Because I was under the impression once it goes live, like you're done. Like, you can't go change anything. But I'm hearing that's not the case, which is great.
No, you
Well,
can.
you can change things, but they warn you not to do it, or they would like for you not to do it, because some people have issues if they've started it and then you've changed things and something goes wrong. And I kind of want to put a bonus cache out tied to mine now, but it would involve me changing the feedback from it, and then it's like, how do I deal with people who have already done it in the past because they can't redo it?
Mhm.
Those things come
Do
up.
they lose the find count?
No, they don't lose the find count, but it's just that it can trip people up.
They wouldn't be
It
able
would
to go
change the
for.
experience.
And what about?
Well, I don't think they would be able to go for your bonus cache because they have already done your cache. Or
Right.
They've already done your adventure lab. So I can understand that they wouldn't want you to do that. But minor changes, like wording, like I went out with several people and I watched them do it. And after watching them do it, I, made it clear that this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And then for El Rojo, one of the things that I did on mine, and I was really proud about it, was my locations, 4 of my locations have highly favorited caches within 150 feet of those locations. So not only are you getting the adventure lab, and I'm telling you that there's a gadget cache over there, make sure you go get it. That's part of the journal. So,
nice.
I think I'm pretty damn proud of it.
That's kind of
What
nice.
he did that was really smart on that is he posted photos and links to those caches.
That's awesome.
Like, I knew I was already there, so I'm like, I'll go check out the gadget cache.
Right, sure.
And
yeah.
it's a pretty standard one. It wasn't.
It's promotion.
That one was
promotion.
decent. But I was still glad I went and did it. Now the other one at the end, absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Stupendous. Had me giggling. Like the OVC, that's a destination there. Just really well done. I was giggling, and I hope I didn't get it muggled, because as I was taking my video and I was leaving, this lady walking her dog walked by. I'm like, oh crap! Hopefully she didn't see too much. But it just was absolutely awesome. And so, hopefully people are paying attention. But putting links to those caches and pictures of them in the stages of the Adventure Lab, I thought was
That's a smart
well
idea.
done.
Smart
And
idea.
then the
I
other
would
thing
have
I
never
was going
thought
to
of
talk
that.
about Scott that I thought was good was he's got a code sheet in there. So if people figure out his answers, he can go change the code sheet, and there'll be all new answers for the lab. So that's going to be his way of combating the armchair loggers.
Scott, you thought this way too through. You thought this through well.
Making a note here.
I
Go to
thought it
Ojai,
well.
California.
Yes, thank you very much.
Are you the king of overthinking? Is that what it is?
Some people think that.
And one last question. I'll let you boys go. What are the opinions concerning sequential or random labs in an adventure?
My opinion is I went ahead and made mine sequential because I wanted it to do a loop in a certain direction so you would get back to the start at the end. But there is a risk to that, and that's if somebody gets hung up and they can't get past location number 3,
Right.
they're done. And so that's what I did.
El Rojo, what do you think?
And why I did
I
it.
thought it made it more secure to do sequential, so it's a little harder to armchair it. And I did like that. One thing I'd recommend, like on one of Scott's, I totally didn't see what I needed to see, but like for me, I didn't want to have answers that could easily be guessed, and I did guess on one of his. And then once I got the answer correct, because, I basically, the options were limited. There's only so many I was going to have to guess. And once I got it, then I saw what I was supposed to see afterwards. But, so I would encourage people, what color is this? Horrible idea. Because how many colors do you got to guess? What number is,
Right.
and even if you spell it out, like, there's only going to be so many numbers there. So, even with the codes, if you want to make people work for it, like what I did is I've got some pretty random phrase. There's no way you're just going to randomly guess my answers.
Right.
So even if you were spoofing, the odds of figuring that out.
In this day and
slim.
age, even if you're spoofing, even if you're figuring it out, even if somebody gives me the answers, I still got to get relatively close to it. If I'm going to get
No,
Right.
she's talking GPS
No,
spoofing.
you don't.
Oh, no, you don't?
So you just GPS
Yeah,
spoof
go
the
ahead,
coordinates.
let them know.
So you can just
basically the spoofers, it's they basically mimic their GPS location
Right.
and they say they're anywhere in the world. So I
That's
can,
way too much.
basically go to your lab from California as long as I could figure out your answers. So I
Right.
don't have to do that myself. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to figure out. But
If you're doing
basically,
that,
which we don't understand that. Who wants to do that? But I mean,
right.
the whole controversy with the travel bug discoveries and
yeah,
and whoever that guy is all, or girl, is all butthurt about something because they're spoiling everything.
right.
Like all the locationless adventure labs, they were posting on their Facebook page for everybody to
Right.
see.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless someone gives you the answers,
And you guys may know him. He got one of the very first ones, and he just, got information that in fact was findable on, on the internet. And he had the first day he had 60 people from Germany find his
No.
adventure lab.
No. Oh no. That's terrible.
yeah. On mine, I had questions where they weren't searchable, and 3 out of the 5 you wouldn't be able to get through Google Street View. So
Right.
All
yeah,
right.
I just wrote down a totally random phrase. Like you're not going to randomly guess what you got to know for mine,
Right.
except the 4th stage, but you're never going to get through the first 3 stages. It's going to be way too tough.
Right. All right, boys. Thanks a lot for calling. Appreciate your call. We'll talk soon.
Hey, appreciate it. You guys take care.
Talk
Always
now.
good talking to you
Good
guys.
luck.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
To you guys, Chad,
mhm.
on the boat. Same question to you. I just asked them.
The sequential one.
Yes. Pro or con?
I kind of liked what he said. I personally, my opinion is if you don't have a reason to make it in a specific sequence, don't put it in a specific sequence. There's one near me. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. It kind of goes like this all over the place, and it's sequential, and it's not telling you a story in a specific order. It doesn't take you from point A to point D at the end or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a specific reason, I would say just leave it open.
I definitely agree. One of the things that I considered for mine is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and go in the order that they went in the movie. That would be a good reason to make
Yes.
it sequential.
Yep.
But like Scott's, if he's just going to do, his idea of just doing locations of movies, they don't necessarily have to be in the same order
Right. Or even
or in a particular order.
Yeah, unless he wants him to
the order they
drive
were
in a
made or
specific
something.
route,
Right.
right? And so that would be a good way to
Right.
do it. And like Wrigley, if you wanted to go in order of like the years they played, right, or in a specific clockwise.
The circle. I would
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chad, do you want to say anything on that? I want to say something about the security thing in a minute.
So I'm pretty much of the same opinion, unless there's a reason to do it in a sequential order, which there, a lot of different potential reasons why you'd want to do it in a sequential order. Then no, don't do it. I mean, mine's none of the 5 things are really related on mine, and it's like do whatever ones you want, whenever you want.
Okay, Ian, back to you.
So it kind of ties into both the things we were talking about, right? We were talking about how to prevent arm sharing and how to whether sequential or non-sequential is better. I've seen a few out there where a little trick that they've used to prevent people from being able to just Google the answers or figure out the answers is they'll put a little 3-digit number or a code or something in front of every answer. And they'll create a sequential adventure, and stage 1 will ask you to find a specific thing that you can't see from Google Earth or something like that. It's on the back of a building, completely hidden on the gas meter, something silly, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you use that code and put it in front of all the other answers later in the adventure. That so it'll say like. If there's a big plaque, it says like, what year was President Garfield born or something stupid like that. And you could just Google that. Right. But you'll have a code that says like 647 in front of it, which is a number off the gas meter that you can only see if you're standing right there looking at it from stage 1. So it'll tell you that in the very beginning, hey, you have to add this 647 to the beginning of every answer as you move along. So there's people that'll try to Google them and they can't because they can't get that code.
Oh,
so
smart idea. There you go. Well done.
So I've seen some of that too. But
that's actually pretty smart. Yes. All right, so we are just about out of time here, guys. I want to mention really quickly. There's a lot of stuff. Obviously, we didn't tackle the app at all or anything like that because this is not really a visual podcast; it's an audio podcast. But if you'd like, Derek Baker Behind the Cache made a couple of excellent, quick, like 5-6 minute video tutorials of Adventure Labs. I have them in our show notes. He has a part 1 of just how to go about taking pictures and whatnot, and part 2, which is all of how to use the app. So if you're interested in that, if you have one, you're interested. I learned because I've never done it before, so I watched them and I actually learned. So you could check those out. Again, Derek Baker, Behind the Cache, YouTube. Links are in our show notes. Guys, anything else to add on a boat or Chaz or Jesse?
I got one more thing. One of the things, and maybe you guys talked about this when I was on calls. I don't know, and if you did, I apologize. But one of the things that I really like about Adventure Labs is they can be indoors. I don't think that's something that we talked about, but there's a mall here that has them inside the mall. And so it was like a cold, snowy, nasty day, and Scott and I went to the mall and walked around and we cached. So that's just another dimension of it that I think is
America definitely
neat idea. Yeah, for sure.
Mall of America.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So
get on that.
So they just make the geofencing pretty large so that you weren't bouncing around inside too much.
Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't have issues with it.
Bad. Yeah, it really wasn't.
Well, I guess with cell phones too, oftentimes they'll use the Wi-Fi to narrow to get locations inside.
Yeah. So we had pretty good. We locked it in pretty good. I have no complaints about it.
Yeah,
that's good.
And then one other thing that I just want to mention, just a tip on, I struggled with trying to come up with an idea of what is going to be this great adventure that people are going to enjoy, and it'll be fun. If you're struggling with it, look at your area, think about the history. Maybe it's, you want to show people certain things. But what I did,
the book, I saw her look at this book today. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
I have this book called Oddball Illinois, and I know there are books like this for every single state. Grab something like this or go to a website or, find tourist attractions. Find those weird things that, you wouldn't otherwise know about and create something with it.
I admit I Googled quirky places in Sacramento because I wanted mine to be about quirky places in Sacramento, and I picked the ones that were my favorites and used those.
Now, Jesse,
Perfect.
did you find yours in that book? Isn't that what
I
you
did. I was browsing through and I'm like, oh, this is a good idea. Oh, that would be fun. Oh, this perfect. Yep, absolutely.
So there you go, guys. All right. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Chet. Onaboat. Ian, always a pleasure, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a good time.
And everybody, I hope you got something out of this. Again, if you want more in depth with the app and all that, check out Derek Baker of Behind the Cache video. And let's go close this show. Where are we? Oh, and thanks to Brian too for calling in. How about that? Often does the president.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So next week, Chad. Oh my goodness, next week. Fine.
Well, we
are kind of slow. We are getting back into the groove with things that we do. We have a March Cache or Coffee, Chad. When's the last time we had a Cache or Coffee,
Ooh.
Chad?
It's been a while.
Forever. And I'm fully. Oh, it's the wait. Jesse said it's the March coronavirus Cache or Coffee. It's a game. Which host gets it first? That's what it's going to be. Which host gets the coronavirus first? So, all right. So here we go. Let's do the closing. So next week, guys, March Cache or Coffee should be good. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So we might just have a whole coronavirus show. We'll see. I changed my buttons on this thing, and so I don't know where anything is anymore. So hold on, guys. I gotta find it. Here we go. Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. It's now, speaking of, guys, the website is now secured with HTTPS. That cost me $60 FYI to do that. Just to let you know that. I had to do it because YouTube told me I had to do it. Slap on the wrist, I had to do it. I think we're okay with YouTube finally, by the way. Sorry. The archive video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on your favorite podcatcher. And hey, if you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click the subscribe or get notified buttons to know when exactly we go live. Hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you will get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/The Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cachly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Sets Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Arted Crafted, and PathTags.com. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make that purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. I got 10 seconds. That's all we got this week. So we'll see you next week, talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, and hug your loved ones. Talk to you next week. Proud. All right, guys. Thank you so much, chat room. Wonderful as always. Where am I here? Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Next week, March Cache or Coffee. Hope you get something out of this. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.